Right, here we go.
go.
Oh, hello, good evening, and welcome. And we're live again. I'm sorry about last week. I literally couldn't be 5 minutes. I just couldn't leave the loop. Couldn't leave the loop. That's all you need to know. Couldn't leave the loop.
I had to put the toilet roll in the freezer.
Ouch.
Dude, no.
Push him off. Just push him off you.
Right. Anyway, before I murder some children,
No, it's Obi. It's not alcohol.
tonight we're going to be giving it a rest of everything paranormal and spooky and legends and this, that, and the other. I just thought we'd take a break and just talk about our own personal things, like what we've been up to, anything that's all stood out from anything else, any jokes you've played on people during investigations, which I hold my hand up to being, pretty much all the time. So there's yourself, myself, and
Taylor.
the Taylor. The Taylor and the bump, who was like out here now.
Oh, yeah.
Suffering a bit of memory loss there. I almost forgot her name, didn't you?
It's my age. I'm like 48 and it's come up with... Actually, it's probably the Christmas cake ingredients that I've left. I've put all the ingredients into soak, and it's got a mixture of some alcohol, which includes Jack Daniels and some other stuff, but I'm not going to mention because it's my secret ingredient, but it's very potent.
Piss.
Look at that. Did you see that thing in the paper about that old boy? He had a roadside thing, and he was, why are you, just 1 minute, why are you wrapping, you're live on the air, why are you wrapping your hoodie thing around your head and tying it up so you look like that? Oh my God, who killed Kenny? This is my idiot son. That's the last time I bring the camera down here. Right.
So my kids are in bed.
Yeah, this old boy was selling homemade scrumpy at the site. It was in the newspapers. And he'd been putting apple juice in and with his own piss and selling to tourists who were dumb enough to go, oh, I say, we'll have some of the lovely farmers' scrumpy, shall we? Got home and went, smells like piss, but we better drink it. It's quaint. And he's there like, what? I ain't done nothing wrong.
I ain't done nothing.
Sitting there at home going, oh my God, they're so gullible.
Well, down in Somerset, tourists are known as grockles. That's the local term for tourists. Even though I lived down there 20 years, and same with Lynn. She
in Amsterdam, they're called brothels.
That's a totally different tourist attraction.
You liked it?
Yeah, there's tourists, and then there's brothels, and then there's grockles. Bit different.
Brothels attract
all to do with gullible people, but different.
What is this?
So, what have you been up to?
All sorts.
Apart from pulling him, make muscle spasm and being laid up.
Apart from getting cramp in both legs, which has taken my left leg out. Not much really this week. It's been mainly nursing a bad knee. But last Saturday was doing an investigation at RAF Bury St Edmunds, which is now called Rougham Airfield.
Is that Rougham Tower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing place. If I investigate only one place for the rest of my life, it will be Rougham Tower.
Really?
Absolutely amazing. I loved every minute of it, simply because of the evidence we got off of there Saturday night. It blew me away. You can go to some places.
I was going to say, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything for future people investigating it in the future. But did anybody pick up on what happened on the airfield? Yeah, on the strip itself.
Hello, Gary.
Oddly enough, we actually got the sound of the aircraft.
Oh, really?
And it wasn't just one; it was a whole squadron.
That's unusual because I've done Rougham Tower quite a few times, and I've found. Hey, Helen, I've found that we've had sounds, and we've had the odd sound of bombers going over, but I've never heard a squadron, and it's been rare for people to pick up on what happened.
Well, the only way we could describe it, because obviously the weekend it was wet and windy, and I had to make sure that I had my super scientific head on, and we'd been around sort of earlier on in the evening doing a little bit of filming for Truth Beyond Paranormal, and then getting ready for the event itself. And then the second we actually started the event, we started noticing it. And because the wind and the rain was sort of coming in sideways, you could tell the difference between what we were hearing along with the wind. You know, you always get that little high pitch blowing, don't you? And to start off with, you could hear the wind and you could hear this really low droning sound.
Yeah.
And it would fade in. And then it would come out. It was almost as if it was right overhead, and then it would fade out again. And then a couple of seconds later, another one would come. It would fade in, right overhead, fade out again. And this had happened about 12 times. Later on in the evening, while we were on the top floor of the control tower, because you're not allowed to go into the top now, that's been stopped altogether. But we're on the top. Sorry?
How come?
Apparently, it's been paranormal teams that have let everybody else down. Apparently, there was, according to the guy that runs the place, there was a team there that decided they wanted to abseil down the outside of the control tower.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well...
And they left a bit of a mess, so now paranormal teams are not allowed there, because obviously they don't stay there overnight, do they? The teams are there, but the owner he takes the money, he gives you the keys, and then he goes home. So of course we're on the top floor in the back room, and we're all sitting there, and we could hear the wind, and I could hear it especially because it was coming in from behind me through the window, and all of a sudden I could hear the low droning noise, and it got louder and louder and louder, and I said, "It's there again," and one of our other team members, Kim, she said, "No, that's definitely the wind." I said, "We've been hearing it all night." I said, when we brought the first group in here on the investigation, downstairs and up here, we can hear the low droning noise. And I can only describe it as a heavy bomber.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I belched really quietly and blew it that way.
Oh, no. So of course we're then trying to locate where the wind is coming from and where the low droning noise is coming from, and we're going by the door that leads out to the top floor. Nothing coming from there. We've gone into the corner where I could hear the wind coming from, and you could clearly hear the wind coming through the gaps in the door and the windows, but the low droning noise was coming from all around. 3 other people said they could feel it through the floor. So wind, it's, you know, at first, when I first heard it, I thought it was a lorry going past, because it's the industrial estate. So I radioed through to check to see if there were any lorries going by, and they're like, "No, there's no vehicles on the road outside." So we're like, "Well, what is it then?" And all through the night, from about 7 o'clock right the way through till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, we kept hearing this low droning noise. And it was coming over in groups of 11 or 12, and then it would stop for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then you'd start hearing it again.
Yeah, you're lucky, because I mean, as I said, it is known for, you can hear planes, because I mean, you've heard like single planes, but I don't think I know of any team that's heard a whole squad going over. So you're lucky.
The only thing I can put it down to is there was a squadron. A squadron took off from over there, from Ruthven, on a mission towards the Netherlands, and none of them returned.
Jeez.
I know the one you're talking about. One did.
The B-20. There was a B-26 that crashed on the airfield.
That's right.
But out of the 11 that went, none of them came back. All 60 airmen were killed.
Jesus.
They were all shot down over Holland, and that was before the B-17s arrived.
That's right. Yeah.
And being ex-RAF and World War II BOF and going to Duxford all the time, I can tell the difference between a B-17 bomber and a lorry or a jet engine. And
Yeah,
I was swearing blind. All I could hear was a B-17, and that was all through the night, and it was constant.
Good shout though.
And
It's a shame I couldn't make it. It's a shame I couldn't get there.
it was a really good night, and we left there about 5 o'clock in the morning. In the end, by the time we'd finished doing all our little filming bits for the show, we'd done the event first, and then we stuck behind to do the filming for the show, and then we all left at about 5 o'clock in the morning. So the sun was coming up as we were getting home.
There was we did a Halloween special, didn't we, for Phoenix Paranormal? And I took a group of people all around Canvey Island, and we stopped off at the B-17 Memorial there on Canvey Island because 2 of the bombs came down. And one of the things that's always stuck in my head about that, do you remember the captain?
The one that was like attached.
Yeah,
to that
there was a one of the women there. The spirit of one of the captains.
Really liked her.
Oh Christ! He took a shine to her, and he followed her everywhere he went. And we'd have the spirit box, and we had a medium with us, and this bloody captain kept coming through, and everywhere we went. Oh, can I just hang on? Other people want to come. No, can I just? And he fancied this woman, and in the end, we said, "Well, would you like to come with us? We're going to such and such, such and such." And then we ended up at the castle and that. And he's like, "Yeah." And he was stuck with this woman and followed her, and she said she could feel like there was something with her the whole time, and she was completely new to this and this and that, and we just thought it was highly hilarious, you know. But yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I mean, the whole experience. I mean, obviously, I've experienced loads of different things, but to actually hear aircraft, that is a first. But not just one aircraft, but it was literally one after the other.
I'd like to have heard that.
And it was really weird because when I look back at like probably about 2 weeks prior to going to Ruthven, up to today, there's been things that have happened that have all linked Ruthven Control Tower and everything that's happened over the last 3 weeks, all into one.
That's bloody old, isn't it?
My son loves Airfix kits.
Oh God, I used some of them, yeah.
At random, he loves them, but he doesn't build them. He gets me to do it.
You built a certain model recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I get to really relive my childhood by building the FX kits for him, and then I pin them up on his ceiling.
Yeah, because you hate doing that job, don't you?
I absolutely hate it. It's the worst job in the world. But I, for some unknown reason, decided to get him a B-17. So we built it, I finished it, and it was put up on his ceiling the Friday before we went to Ruthven.
Right.
And he loves it. That's his pride and place on his ceiling now, the B-17. Of course, we've got to Ruthven. I've done a couple of my daylight filming sections for Truth Beyond Paranormal. Then we've greeted the guests. The guests have all come in. We've split up into the groups. We've given everybody the health and safety spiel and the COVID-19 rubbish and all that. We've gone out into the first location. Now, we didn't have that many numbers, so we'd split into 2 groups.
Yeah.
One group went into the Nissan huts, and we went into the control tower. And we went into the very back room on the ground floor. And we were standing there, and one of the guests wanted to use the dowsing rods.
Yeah.
So we said to him, ask questions, but I'll tell them that you need to open for yes or close for no, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So you've got the answer. So he stood there and he's asking questions. Well, before we got into the control tower, Ellen kept saying, I've got the name beginning with a J or a G for some reason. It just keeps coming into my head. So, of course, we're asking out in this room. Not much results. We had a slight wobble on one of the dowsing rods. So Ellen then grabs hold of them. We start asking questions. She's getting slight wobbles.
Right.
And got a couple of answers, but it was pretty slow. I then take hold of the dowsing rods, and they're going bananas. We were question after question. They were open, closed all the time. And we obviously asked if there was any spirits in the room. Can you please open the rods? And they'd open up. And we literally ended up getting the name Jack.
Right. I'm
We-
sure we had that name up there as well, didn't we, Jack?
Sorry, I've got someone trying to interject here. She's trying to interject. I said we because we're speaking as a group. You had your earphones in when I mentioned J and G, so you didn't hear that bit. So shut up. You ain't got no right to moan.
I haven't even said a word.
Put my foot down.
You put your foot.
But yeah, then we got the name Jack, and then we asked, if there was anything in the room that belonged to him, and he opened the rods to say yes. So he said, "Where in this room is the object?" And it pointed to this display cabinet.
No.
He's timed out. Oh no, I'm still talking. I'm still here. Ow! I'll just kick the bucket. Oh. He's frozen. Well, I'm still here if nobody else is. Uh-oh. Can't hear him, can't see him. He's disappeared, look. Oh, excuse me. Okay, we have a slight difficulty. I'm on my own here. Oh, hello. I'm presenting the Dark Mirror radio show on my own. So anyway, do we have any people watching? If so, can you please pop yourself in and say hi? Does anybody want me to carry on with what was going on at Ruffham? But so yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll wait for Mark and Taylor to come back in, if you can. It may involve we may have to close the live feed down and restart it. Seems to be a bit of an issue. Mark said his battery died on his laptop, so fancy not having it plugged in. But, let's send a message back to him. There we go. He will come back in at some point. Got to find out where he is. Everything's disappeared. So, hi, Helen and Gary. Sorry, I've only just figured out how to get all these chat things up. Mark's disappeared. He's now frantically trying to get his battery up and running.
Still there? Oh my God.
There we go.
It literally went, your battery's low, fuck off. No,
Donut.
Scramble. Just like, no, fuck off.
Anyway, I was singing to our viewers. You missed it.
Aww.
You were singing. Is that why they've all gone? Has he frozen?
Oh no.
Has he? You...
Yeah, I mean, carrying on.
Sorry, you froze like that. That's why I was like,
Yeah, I'm still there. Oh.
Again.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it keeps freezing. I don't know why.
Oh, still freezing.
It's freezing.
I'm trying to move about, so it don't look. If I keep moving about, then I'll know whether I've frozen or not.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah. That's
Anyway, yeah. We've got this. The dowsing rods had pointed to this case, the display case at the back room, and we said to him, "Is there any particular item you want us to look at?" And he pointed to this little metal box. And when we looked at it, they got obviously a little number by the side of it. And when we looked down at the chart, it came up that was a B17 compass. So I then said, have we got a navigator?
Yeah.
Jack, are you a navigator? Can you open the rods? And it opened the rods. So we're like, my God, we've got this person called Jack who was a navigator on a B-17. Well, we knew the Americans stationed some B-17s there for 2 missions.
That's right.
And then they moved up north. So we were like, that's, pretty good evidence as it was. We then obviously we finished off investigating that area and we went upstairs. Well, one of our guests, she'd got back issues and she couldn't go up the stairs. So they were happy. Her and Ellen stayed downstairs and they were carried on investigating downstairs. And they went into another room. And as they're walking through the room, they find a picture of a B-17 and its crew. And when they started looking through the names from left to right, it got Navigator Jack Fryer.
Whoa.
That's like that.
Sweat marks.
That's like that thing.
And no one
when,
had been in that room.
I'm sure.
Jeez.
Did you have the control tower squadron leader come through as well at any point? Because I know we did on one of our forays there. Because his desk is up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came through to one of the mediums once.
In all honesty, we never.
That's flattering.
That's not a flattering picture.
Because that's the room at the top of the stairs, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
I'm back.
Every time you do a daft face or something, it freezes.
We filmed a few segments for the show in there.
Yeah.
But
This is ridiculous.
Yes.
in there. But we only got one male came through. We had a couple of ladies' names come through, and we had a couple of
Yes.
anything come through on any other experiment. It was all through them. The Alice.
Should be back in a minute. We seem to have issues with the internet, which I think is 11-year-old issues with the internet.
No, I think it's the weather because the weather's really bad.
Well,
Still
we're
playing his Xbox.
well, we're right beside the router, so we shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. But for some reason, it's going absolutely waltz silly. So I'm hoping Taylor's up there now.
Well, yeah, because the more people that use it, the more it struggles.
Yeah, no, I know. We're supposed to have really good broadband here as well. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yes, because I was asking what everybody's been up to. This week, as you may or may not know, I drove down to Somerset and back in the same day. That was a interesting trip, to say the least. We left at... What time did we leave? We left at 10:30 in the morning, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we got back just before 3 o'clock the following morning. So that was a good trip. Got loads done.
You
Got
stayed down there for a while.
Well, I had to go down there and take...
No, you left at 11ish because it took you 4 hours to get back.
What, when we left there?
Yes.
We came back at 10:30. We left at 10:30.
That's
And
11ish.
we got back here just before 3.
That's 11ish then, isn't it?
No,
Oh, yeah, he was on YouTube.
I thought he was, little bugger. Right. Now we've discovered what had happened to the internet. Oh, dear. So, yeah, we've had that and various bits and bobs. We've been decorating and got the front room.
I got
Back.
some exciting news about little Finley.
Oh, yeah, you have. Go on.
Number 1, he's breech. And number 2, I'm 28 weeks, but he's reading around 30 to 31 weeks.
Then they reckon he's going to be about 10
Right.
pounds.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Me too.
smart.
No, it's still being C-section.
Are you looking forward to this, Taylor?
Oh, no, it's going to be a C-section. No, I'm not even going to try.
What, coming out arse
I'm
first,
not
that
going
big?
to try.
Fanny like a wizard
Push-
sleeve.
Exactly.
Well, the thing was, Ellen always wanted a water birth. And the first, with Tamsin, she wasn't allowed to because she had strep B. So she wasn't
Right.
allowed to have the water birth.
Yeah.
But the second time round, she said, you know, if I've had, everybody kept saying, oh, you've had strep B before, you won't be able to have the water birth this time round because the likelihood will be that you'll have strep B again. And when we got up to the maternity ward, we'd already expressed to them that we wanted to have the water birth.
Yeah.
And Ellen expressed her worries about it and what people had said. And they went, no, you can have a water birth. We'll check you for strep B, but there's no reason why you can't have it.
Mm.
So as soon as she went into labour, we're straight up there. I can't remember, 3.5 hours?
We got there at 12:30. He was out at 2:36.
Oh. Got there at 12:30 and he was out by 2:36. And as soon as we were in there, every time that to start off with, the midwife had said, you're not dilated enough, we'll send you home. And
Is he still on? I can still hear him.
was sure. So no sooner had she walked out the door, but Ellen had another contraction.
Ah.
I said to her, they're literally every
Well,
less than 2 minutes apart.
Yeah.
I said, you can't be sending her home now, surely. And she went, oh, she said, no, I think I've started something.
Again, I went from 3 to 6.
Yeah, 3 centimetres to 6 centimetres within minutes,
Jeez.
which was really weird.
The labour was nice and quick, so it started at 8 a.m. and the doctor finished at 2:30.
Yeah. The actual labour itself was from 8 in the morning till about 2:36, but the actual birthing process literally took hardly any time at all. I mean, every time the new midwife that came in that was looking after Ellen all the time, she turned around, she got all bossy with me and said, you can fill up the now. So there's me being old plumber Joe. Oh, we keep going and going again.
It's not our end
so
this time.
filling up the pool. Right, come on then, Ellen. I don't know. We've got full Wi-Fi here, but I don't know who's using it. So I think Ellen's probably using it. I think she's watching Call the Midwife, oddly enough. How weird's that? So of course, we're filling up the birthing pool. She has another contraction. The midwife goes, right, we've got to get you over to the pool. Every time Ellen got up, another contraction hit and she flumped back down again. So walking from the bed to the pool was about 5-6 steps. And literally almost every step she took, she was getting a contraction.
He was ready.
You know, take one step and the contraction came. So she was like, oh my God. Oh, well, by the time she got over the contraction and moved her foot forward, another one was coming. Got her into the pool and a couple of minutes, wasn't it?
I think I was in there for about 5 minutes.
Couldn't have been in there long. 5 minutes she was in the birthing pool and out he came. She hardly pushed at all.
Aww.
You know. But I'm glad I did it on just the gas and air, which was my biggest worry.
She only had the gas and air.
My
Whereas
other
with
daughter,
she had the full works.
Yeah, did she? She didn't use anything, was it?
She had a paracetamol.
Oh, a paracetamol, that was it. But she was in labour for quite a while.
No. She went in, got induced, was in labour for 2 hours, and then within 2 pushes, Harper was here.
Oh yeah, and for the daily checkup, weekly checkup of the bump for Helen and the others you like to say it. I have forgotten to upload the last episode onto YouTube, so I will do it with this one
Pull my shorts
tonight.
down.
Pull your shorts down, but leave them on because.
There he is.
Oh, hang on, come back.
Oh.
Come back.
There he is.
Got 2 bags full of clothes for you.
Yep. We've got
We're
2
gonna-
big bags full of clothes for you. So.
If it's all right, I would like to pop over and see you because we're going to be in Somerset for a long weekend. So what I can do, if it's all right with the missus, I've got to go and drop Taylor off in London.
Yeah.
So if it's all right with you guys and all right with my missus, we'll come back via you guys.
Yeah.
And we can have a cup of tea and a break from the journey. Is that all right, Lynn?
Because this is the last time that I'm going to travel. Here.
My son, who is
9 months.
9 months, has just answered My question. Answered your question.
What do you do?
Well, you said, is it all right if we swing by yours on the way back from Somerset, right? And my son, who's sitting in the living room, just went, yeah.
That's his first word.
That's his first word. He's never. He's done the typical just testing his voice out. But that's the first time I've ever actually heard him say a word.
Well, there you go. See, my God, no, people are saying hello to you.
But the thing was, it was replying to you.
Well, there you go. I shall come down and what's his name?
Freddie.
Freddie.
Well, there you go. Freddie's first word is yeah. Say hello.
Hello.
No.
Well, we shall all pop round on the way back from dropping this one off at Ealing.
Yeah.
We'll come across, see you guys, and then we can, because then it's straight up to the northeast from there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, just up the A4, up A12, A14, A1.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. Right, then, it's which weekend is it?
It is.
It'll be Sunday the
1st of November.
There you are, Sunday 1st of November.
That's fine.
Because to that, I'm not travelling whatsoever because I'm not going to risk it.
No. As long as you give us plenty of notification, let us know when you're about.
All right, mate. Yeah, I'll message you when we leave in London.
Yeah.
I'll just say
I've
run
got my
away.
midwife on speed dial.
Yeah, Ellen's still got her midwife on speed dial.
I won't be coming with because I'm seeing Sheldon's parents for the last time before I have Finley as well.
Yeah, we're dropping her in London.
Yeah.
You'll
Drop
don't
me
worry.
on the way
You'll see her after.
So yeah, so obviously there was the business with Rougham Tower, and then obviously Monday night, me and Ellen took part in I'm a Ghost Hunter. I'm a Ghost Hunter. Get me out of here! Celebrity Bush Tucker trial
with Ellen. You listen to this, the crap that these two ate live. They'll do anything to plug his bloody books, I tell you. But you listen to the stuff that these ate.
We were given a series of chocolates and a drink. And in the chocolates, it consists, we obviously we didn't know what was in them. So we had to just literally, they were bite-sized chocolates, no bigger than sort of that. Little ice cube size. We had to put the whole thing in our mouth and we had to eat it.
Really?
And it was literally basically the one who ate it all first was the winner of that round, which me and Ellen level pegged right the way through to start off with. And the first one was crickets.
Right.
Even though I'd specifically said no bugs, we had... buffalo worm was the first one, wasn't it? We had buffalo worms, which are like big fat mealworms. Not nice. Crickets, mealworms, locusts. What else? Oh, a fermented egg.
Blue eggs.
And that was in a big white ball, and we had to eat at least half of it.
Oh.
So there was the fermented egg. Then there was ghost chili.
God bless your tiny butthole.
Yeah, it was God bless my butthole the following day. That was nasty.
That was horrible for the both of us.
We both suffered on that one. What else was there after the ghost chili? Buffalo worm, mealworm, cricket, locust, fermented egg, the ghost chili, and there was number 7. Oh, it was the drink, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Number 7 was the drink. And the drink consisted of Jägermeister mixed with all previous 6 ingredients.
Okay.
So not only were we eating the fermented eggs and the bugs, we were eating the ghost chilies as well, again, in this drink. The worst part was the rules were going to be originally the person that loses has to eat an 8th and final meal.
Yeah.
Oh.
It keeps popping up. Hello.
The only problem was because me and Ellen kept level pegging with each other, although I finished mine before Ellen, on each round, we still completed the task. So they changed the rules and said, we'll go for a vote. Who's going to have the 8th meal? And everybody voted for me.
You surprised me.
I had to stick this item in 4 bags and stick it out in the garden. It was that vile.
What was it?
It was in a Ziploc bag. And no sooner did I unsellotape the bag, then unzip it and open it, I got hit in the face with this really nasty putrid smell. And they said, right, unwrap it. Because whatever it was, what it was wrapped in tissue paper. And I unwrapped it, and no word of a lie, it looked like a pig's ear.
Right.
And I went, oh, it's a pig's ear, I'll do that. No problem. We had to take a bite.
Right.
But the smell was putting me off. There was, I was telling them, obviously, after all the previous 7 things I'd eaten and drunk, that was starting to turn my stomach. And I'm like, no, I'll put it back in the bag. I said, there's no way I'm touching that. I said, I do draw the line now. I'm not eating that. And they went, oh, go on, just lick it. So I'm like, right, okay. So I've taken it out. I've held this thing up and I've gone, like an ice cream.
Yeah.
Luckily, the ghost chili killed my taste buds.
Right. Cool.
So I couldn't taste nothing. It turned out to be a bullock's testicle. A dry bullock's testicle. And I'm like, oh my God. Of course, every time we complete the task, they showed us a picture of what it was they put in this chocolate. And I'm like, I can't believe I've just done all that. I've eaten a bullock's testicle. But
did you just lick the tip? Was it just
no,
the tip?
I had to lick from base to tip. I had to lick all the way up.
He's trying to have another son, aren't you?
And I'm like, that is never happening again. No way am I doing that ever again.
Oh, dear.
Of course, Ellen was almost physically sick. I went to bed that night. I was as right as rain. Following morning, I'm obviously visit the bathroom, and I needed the toilet roll in the fridge.
That was me last week. No, week before.
Ellen had a really bad stomach and felt quite rough all through Monday. Tuesday even. So of course, with me and my gammy leg and the burning ring of fire.
Let me get this right. You're laid up with your leg up high, your butthole in the fridge, and you're just like, why did I do this?
Yeah, but we've said no one ever is going to get us to do that again. But it was fun.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
It was fun, but that's it. I draw the line on that. And if anybody asks me to do that again, I'll be like, "No, you're all right."
Yeah, I was going to say one day, if you like, either you guys can come up here or we'll come down there, do a show all together.
Yeah,
sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to say. So Sheldon's thing is that he wants to put a fan on while I'm giving birth, so he can hear ooh.
If I tell you what, if my grandson comes out with slap marks, I'm going to kill him. Has he been watching Grimsby?
I don't know. He keeps saying it. I can't wait to put the fan on while you're giving birth. He also said he's going to take a selfie with me while I'm having a contraction.
I can see him doing this. Sheldon's a lovely lad. I can see it. I can see her there going, and he'll be there going.
Yeah.
He'll have a BBC film crew in there with him.
I don't know if there'd be enough room, would there? I mean, with the baby being that big.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure the baby's going to come out 6'7" with a steak in its
But
hand.
I think actually now that most hospitals, because of COVID rules and regulations, they are very strict on how many people can go in and come out.
Only
and how
allowed
long
one
they're allowed in for.
Yeah, only Sheldon's allowed in.
He's allowed in. He has to wear a mask, and if he leaves for any reason whatsoever, he's not allowed back in.
Yeah, I mean, Colchester General Hospital, they allow you in, I think, before an hour before labour actually kicks in, once they've been admitted. And then they're kicked out for a little bit, and then they're allowed to go back in once later on. And if they go back in, they have to stay in.
Yeah, that's what his is. Basically, he's not allowed in until I'm pretty much pushing, and then he can come in and not leave.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they've got to play safe, haven't they? You know, they're obviously safeguarding everybody, the workers and the other people in the hospitals. So,
talking of hospitals and illnesses and stuff, I noticed in the news today, Mr. Trump has COVID.
Wow.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
Was it has or had?
Has. He's been tested positive. So is his missus. This is the same man who said it was just like getting a bad dose of the flu, and he doesn't know what all the fuss is about.
I haven't really read the articles, but we know what social media and media are like. They have actually meant that he's got over it since, or he has it now.
I went to the news sites today, and it said he's just been tested positive for it.
And they're in quarantine.
And he was supposed to have gone and done all this stuff because of his new election coming up, and he can't. And he's just been tested positive for it. And it's like, I couldn't happen to a nicer bloke.
Yeah. Do you reckon Biden's going to go up there and ask him to inject himself with disinfectant then?
Well, they both together, when they put their heads together, it makes the sound of a bowling strike. So, you know.
Yeah.
You look at politicians, I did see like the fallout from their little discussion that they'd had, and old Biden there is bad.
He was a clown, yeah. I don't know what would be worse, to be honest, having Trump as president for another 4 years or having this Biden bloke in. I think Biden's just going to be just as bad as what Trump is.
Well, it's like, I mean, I don't do politics because they all of them lie. They all say they're going to do this, and this, and they never bloody do. So I don't do politics. Yeah. Can't stand it. Politics and religion, just don't do it. But when you see people who are supposed to be heads of state and stuff coming out with the nonsense that bobble-headed man has come out with, and then he says all that stuff about COVID, and then, oh, look, he's caught it. And you're just like...
Yeah, but there is also a rumour going round that thousands of scientists now have been stating that the coronavirus isn't as infectious and dangerous as first believed.
Then what were all the deaths about?
But we know for a fact that a lot of the deaths have been fabricated.
That's right. It was if you died of pneumonia, it was put down as COVID.
Yeah, people dying of pneumonia. There was a guy down in Devon or Somerset, somewhere down that way. He got decapitated, and it was put on his death certificate as COVID. A friend of mine, his mum died of a heart attack. It wasn't COVID related. It was a heart attack. She had heart failure, and that led to the heart attack. COVID-19 on death certificate.
What the hell?
On the news, they've said
being attacked by a pug.
66 people in 24 hours have died of COVID, but the way that they said it is if they were diagnosed with COVID and they died within 2 weeks of the diagnostics, they're putting it down as COVID.
Yeah, but that's because the World Health Organization has been telling the countries that sign up to the World Health Organization have to go by their findings. So, of course, when we signed up in 1948 to the WHO, we had to go by what their advice was. The problem is their advice will be different to other scientists and other people in the field. So you then get a conflict of interests. So you're listening to all these different sources that are all coming out with all different things. And this is why we're getting the complete farce that we've got now. But
it's a load of bollocks, isn't it?
I think back in May, the Italians did autopsies against the WHO's advice.
Yes, it was a small town in Italy, wasn't it?
and the mayor of the town had said, look, our people want to know what their relatives died of. I'm not going to lie to them because you want me to. Because the WHO had said you don't do autopsies, you just bury them, because otherwise your morgues are going to fill up and you're going to end up with bodies all over the shop.
Well, the thing is, they're mad.
The thing is, in Greece, if somebody dies, the body is buried the following day. There is no morgues. And the only time a body is left for longer than a day is if they've died under suspicious circumstances. And so majority of the time they're buried the following day anyway. And I think Italy is pretty much similar. It's all a rush affair. When someone dies of old age, it's a rush affair to get that person buried. Now, this person, these 50 people, they'd all died, and the families wanted to know what they died of. And it turned out that they had died of a bacterial infection, where if they were given antibiotics, vitamin C, and anticoagulants, I think it was, then they would have still been walking the streets.
What do you reckon
they would not have died.
What do you reckon this is? Because you know, I mean, I love a good conspiracy theory. I mean, some of them are absolutely crackpot, but some of them are like, possibly got your finger on something there.
The problem is, and I've said this to a few people now, is every once in a while something pops up to scare people. In the 80s, we had HIV and AIDS.
That's right.
What do you hear of it now?
It's all under control now, isn't it? Everybody, whoever's got it.
Pretty much all under control. Then you got like foot and mouth, SARS, the avian bird flu, and now you've got COVID-19. And every time one of these big things, these big diseases, pandemics, or whatever has popped up, even Ebola.
That's right. Yeah.
In the African states, all these big diseases, they all popped up. What did it do? What was the first thing that it did? As soon as the news got out to people, the first thing it did was scare everybody. Everybody was scared. There was then all of a sudden, with HIV and AIDS, there was a lot of homophobia.
That's right.
It increased. Oh, you're gay. No, you ain't coming near me. You take drugs. You ain't coming near me. I don't want to catch HIV and AIDS. You stay away from it. So, of course, this homophobic and anti-drug attitude started kicking up a stink. But people were scared. Then foot and mouth comes along. More people start wearing masks. People don't go near farms. They don't go to zoos because they're scared of catching foot and mouth.
I remember that, yeah.
And it happens. Every generation, near enough, gets a pandemic or a disease that pops up to scare people.
Well, the thing has stuck in my head was something that was mentioned a couple of years ago. Anonymous were talking about it. Project Bluebeam. Does that ring a bell? What the government was going to do? Project Bluebeam was the government were allegedly going to do a fake UFO invasion just to see how we would handle it. Now, I found that odd at the time because it'd be like, why would they want to know what our reaction would be to fake alien invasion?
It's sort of like a precursor to the actual arrival. Yeah,
if we haven't actually already got our alien friends here already, aliens friends here already, which I think we have had for a long time, and the government knows about it. But it seems strange that Project Bluebeam, which was going to be, should have been done by now, hasn't happened, but this has happened. And we all had that flu at the end of last year, beginning of this year, the really bad one that knocked a load of us, for 6. And then I was one of the people who had it.
To be honest, I wouldn't know what flu was if you hit me in the face.
I've had it a few times. It's not very nice. It's like a really bad cold, very bad cold. But a lot of people had that stuff at end of last year, beginning of this year, and now all of a sudden we've got this. But no Project Bluebeam. Do you reckon that was a false flag?
I don't necessarily think it was a false flag. I just think it quite possibly was an accident, because any laboratory that works in bacteriology or virology, if they develop something that can cause harm to another person, at the same time they also create a vaccine.
Exactly.
So if you're going to create a virus or a viral infection, you would also, at the same time, create the antidote, because the antidote is made from the virus in the first place, which is, in essence, was what the flu is. When you're given the flu vaccine, you're given the vaccine as well as the flu strain, because the vaccine has to counteract it. So I find it strange that they've got this virus in a lab with no vaccine.
It's rather odd to say that, to say the very least, and it's also very odd. Why would they be developing something that can wipe out millions of people when
but when you
supposed to be able to use that?
The COVID virus, the original COVID strain virus, has been around for decades. It's been called COVID-19 because it was that particular strain was developed or mutated in 2019.
But what I'm sort of getting at is all these governments who are banned by the Geneva Convention, they cannot use chemical or biological warfare. Why are these
by the Geneva Convention?
Why are these things being developed?
That's all garbage. You can sign to the Geneva Convention, but whether you stick to it or not is another thing. What they can't see behind closed doors, they don't know about. They don't know nothing, because I could have a virology lab up in my attic for all they know.
Well, one of the people in the chat room there, Mark's just said population control, and
yeah. That is, well, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, when we were first told about coronavirus, you know, one of the biggest things was it will go for. But oddly enough, isn't that what all viruses do?
Exactly.
99.9% of viruses will attack people that are already infirm or elderly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing that got me about this particular strain of COVID, the particular strain of COVID has been proved. It attacks minorities. It attacks them first, which is very strange for a man-made pandemic.
But the thing is, it's supposed to have been man-made.
Yeah.
But like I said, like all viruses, it is attacking people that are already it was commented by Mark. You know, it's population control. If you can knock back.
Sorry, mate, you're in.
You look, you're in China.
Egaphone.
Oh, yep. Am I back?
No.
Am I back?
No. We're getting there. I mean, just carry on for the comedy value. It's worth it on its own.
Well.
There you go.
Apparently, my audio is still there.
Yeah, you're there now.
But yeah, I mean, you look at China. They've created a population gap by passing a law stating they're only allowed to have one child per couple.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Now they know they're overpopulated. Now you've got places like Brazil, which are overpopulated as well. They're going to have issues as well, but they haven't got the same rule that China has got. But China have now created this population gap where only one child can be born per couple. And 9 times out of 10, it's boys, because boys are worth more to the family than girls are. So now they've got this other issue. And then you've got COVID-19 jumps in. That just makes the situation worse.
There's a very interesting film.
Have I gone again?
Was it Tuesday? Whatever happened to Tuesday? And that deals with that law in China where you can only have one child, but it deals with it as a global thing, and you're only allowed. What was it? 1 or 2 kids? One kid, wasn't it?
Is it that when you've had a kid and then you have another kid, they get put in like a massive incinerator?
They get told that they're going to go to a rehabilitation place, and it's not. It's really not a rehabilitation place. It's a very, very good film. Well worth a look. Whatever happened to Tuesday?
But I mean, I think, I wouldn't go down the conspiracy theory side of things and say that this is all being done on purpose. I personally think, it's just another virus similar to SARS and foot and mouth and the flu. I mean, I did some digging the other day, and it turns out that flu is still the
It's frozen.
biggest killer before Corona. Am I with you still?
It keeps doing it.
Am I still there?
You're there. You can, but you'll sort of get to a really good bit of your conversation and go, and it's what.
Right.
And you'll look like you're doing something very. Look like you're having happy time and frozen in it, going. So right.
Well, is my audio all right now?
Your audio's all right. It's just out of sync. That's all.
Oh, right. Okay.
You're back.
I mean, when you look at all these viruses, I did a bit of digging and found that Times had done some research, and it turned out that coronavirus is only actually killing 17 people a day. The flu was killing 29.
And yet all their facts and figures were saying it's this, that, and the other.
They said it's been 66 in the past 24 hours this morning.
Yeah, but then that's not including the people that died of heart attacks, decapitations, big explosions, and all the crap that the WHO have told people to do.
I can't understand how
some hospitals are still diagnosing people with COVID-19 symptoms, even though they haven't.
It's like that decapitation one. How the fucking hell can you put down a decapitation as COVID-19? What, he sneezed so hard he blew his own head off?
No, it was COVID-19 was driving the lorry that pulled out in front of him. COVID-19 is that clever, you see. This is the reason why pubs have to shut at 10 o'clock at night, because that's when COVID-19 comes out. COVID-19 comes out. A bit like the Warriors, 10 o'clock at night, COVID-19's out on the street, so you've got to be careful. But
the Warriors is a good film.
There is a pub I think it was in Berkshire, that is still allowed to serve alcohol after 10 p.m. And it's at a service station. And apparently he's the only place in the country that can still serve alcohol, apart from the House of Commons.
I was just about to say the House of Commons.
He can still serve alcohol up till 11 o'clock.
Why?
Because he's linked to the service station, providing a service for people.
I remember when that rule came out about the pub, and then everybody's like, well, hang on, how come the House of Commons bars, you can have as many people as you want in there, you don't have to wear a face mask, and it doesn't close at 10?
Because it's a place of work.
Still a load of bollocks, though, really, isn't it?
But does it mean then, if like the House of Commons can get away with it because it's a place of work, employed by the pub can stay in the pub after it's closed and have a couple of drinks, because that's his place of work. So surely he can bend the rules in his favour.
I've had a few lockdowns in the past, but I suspect you have, especially when you're in the rough. Do you know what the best lockdowns I've ever had have been in the sergeant's mess? Don't remember leaving the sergeant's mess, but I remember going in there on several occasions and not coming out. But can you imagine being in the House of Commons bar with Bojo and everybody's hammered?
No.
Bruv, put your phone on record and just leave it.
Yeah.
To be honest, it probably sounds just the same inside the Commons bar than what they do in the actual Commons itself. They'll just be standing there going, rah, 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 rah.
Do you remember the Fast Show?
Yeah.
Do you remember
the old bloke?
Yeah. Bloody elephant gun. They're very, very drunk. Boris Johnson. Yes. It is, isn't it? Hang on, we've just had this. Mark's just put this in.
Atkins said up to 90% of people. You see, this proves the point. If 90% of people have been tested with COVID as positive, wrongly diagnosed, then that means that figure of 17 people per day is accurate.
Mm.
Do you know what?
And it's because, and the problem is always will be, is the World Health Organization, when there is something like this happens, the World Health Organization is the group that tells every other country that signed up to its service what to do.
It's
And
not
because
run by
we've
the
signed up
doctor.
to it,
It's not run by it's not run by the doctor, though, is it? That's where they're going
no,
wrong.
it's not. It's not Doctor Who.
Are you doing your spook and noise tonight?
No, I was going to do the redo the auction because the auction went pear shaped. The lady that won the auction the last time, she's unfortunately quite severely ill and has ended up in hospital. So we agreed we'd do it another day, but I haven't really had much time to do anything about it.
I'm sorry. Did you just hear any? Did you just?
I
Did
thought
you,
that was
did you
Obi.
people out there in the listening land? Did you hear anything just then coming from some? Well, I don't know if it was that dog's bottom there or the white dog on the sofa, or possibly I don't know my missus who's eating some lovely fruit, but somebody just sharted. I don't know who it was. Do you?
Ripped a hole in the leather sofa.
It was quiet.
It smells like burning rubber. I don't know who that was. On that note, I'll tell you what. I think doing the talking about the the news and
But
general stuff, and spooky stuff. I quite like this, and then going back to doing topics, and then going back to doing a bit of just general banter and this, that, and the other. I quite like it. Yeah.
What about once a month you do this happened this month, and then
We can do that if Wayne's up for that.
Well, yeah. If you look at it, you could do 1 week where it's just general chatter, and then do 2 weeks of subject, and then another week of general chatter.
Shall we do that?
So
Yeah,
you
we'll do
literally do general chatter 2 weeks, general chatter 2 weeks, general chatter 2 weeks, and just keep on doing it that way because it sort of it has a break in between each subject, then, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And
I think we'll do
it's
it.
quite good.
Talking of COVID and that, do you know what I'm thinking about doing possibly for next week?
Right.
UFO legends, but there's one in particular about I can't remember the name of the place, but the golden discs that were found in China with the weird hieroglyphic writing that goes round like a record. And according to the Chinese, Nordic people came out of the flying discs, and then it was a crashed flying disc, and these Nordic people intermingled with the Chinese population there. Now, this happened hundreds of years ago, and this is the whole reason why in one part of China you get blonde-haired, blue-eyed Chinese people. So I'm going to have a look into that this week, because that, apart from a hell of a legend, that's fucking hilarious. Sorry, but
No, it's good. Well, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Because they're like, what was it I was watching the other day? It was something about statues were found in some of the Incan pyramids.
the ones with like the full-on helmets and stuff.
And they were saying that the actual effigies that were found, these statues, they were that of Romans.
Yes.
So how did they?
Yeah.
So how did Roman statues get into South America?
And there was a lot of stuff going on about the Sphinx as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, and it was all led to believe that the conquistadors and that were the first people to actually arrive in the Americas, when there is now the rumor that the Romans actually made it that far.
Well, Vikings made it as far as Nova Scotia and a bit further down, and they before the conquistadors did. So why not? But
and the Romans predated the conquistadors, so it just sort of raises the suspicion now where you can't have Christopher Columbus claiming that the Americas were discovered by him, because now you've got the Vikings and the Romans.
Well, I'll tell you what, how's about next week's show we do out of time anomalies?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right, you have a look for your bit, and I'll have a look for my bit, and then I'll send you as soon as I find it.
Yeah. We'll have a look. We'll compare notes.
Oh, yeah, and before everybody goes, just want to say thank you for listening to Dark Mirror Show, and we're never going to give you up.
We're never going to let you down.
We're not around.
and desert you.
Half's dad sent her a Facebook link for something and she clicked on it and she was rickrolled.
Bit of Rick Astley.
And on that note, I would say thank you very much for listening and putting up with our internet going. Hopefully it'll be better next week. So to everybody out there, we shall say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And Mr. Wayne will say goodbye.
Bye.
Ends the broadcast now. Thank you for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.